All right, let's do a little post-Powell price action here. I know previously, right before Powell spoke, a couple things I was talking about, the imbalance, right? The imbalance filled before Powell at this level right here. We filled the imbalance, we bounced, and we started to develop a little bit of a range, respecting the highs and the lows of the imbalance, just building some volume in there, right? Some building out that volume profile in that area. So now that that imbalance is filled, we were discussing we're either going to sweep here and then continue higher, which would have brought us up here to this imbalance that I would look ultimately as the overall target. If I was bullish, obviously, all-time highs would be the ultimate target and to continue and extend. But we have been ranging here, right? So we ranged, broke down, bounced at the midline of the imbalance, and then finally, today we filled the imbalance. Powell spoke, and we broke it right there, right? We broke below the imbalance when Powell started speaking. That's around 3:15, and then we just continued the sell-off, right? Looked like it was going to be, if you zoomed in, it looked like it was going to be a little quick sweep of the area, and then they were going to reclaim the imbalance here and then continue higher, right? But now that this imbalance is broken, I'm going to leave it on my chart just for a little bit longer, just to see, because we just finally broke below and actually have been, slightly trending down on the day below the imbalance. So 15-minute, there we go. Now, what I'm going to do on my 15-minute chart, I'm going to mark off some levels here, right? I have this level here. I have this level here. This level is going to be a shorter time frame liquidity level, same as this one here. I will zoom in faster time frames and use those as liquidity levels to break those to see if we can get a retracement into some sort of an imbalance above, and so on and so forth. But right now we have this spot right here that's sticking out to me because higher lows. We got a higher low right here, made a new high, higher low, but this one is sticking out, right? This one is sticking out for the next move. Let's go ahead. Below that we have right here, I got this area here, which break. It actually might be here. This might be a lower time frame, but that was the breakout. It retested where it was holding here, liquidity sweep, and then continue higher. This liquidity sweep is actually more or less an imbalance. There is still an imbalance in this level, which comes all the way down to about here. But let's go look to the right. So we didn't quite get down to those levels yet, but that's what I'm going to be watching. I got this level here and this level here. So that's around 20,907 and 20,861.75. Those are the levels I'm watching. Now that we broke down, I'm looking for the retest firm, not firm, but stay weak. Sellers strong below the this previous level here, the imbalance, and then continue lower. But with that being said, right, we swept below. Let's see where the retracement might potentially come into, right? These levels were key, so I'm going to leave these on my charts. We did not fill this entire, I believe that was a 5-minute. I believe we didn't fill that 5-minute imbalance. We didn't fill that 5-minute imbalance yet. We still have some room there to fill. Did we actually fill it? Nope, just slightly. It's close enough to being filled, though, so I'm going to, almost filled. So I'm just going to, I can see the wick up there. It's almost filled. This one here got filled but held, so this one's still valid. This one is, they tried to bounce on it, and they couldn't do it. I'm going to take that one off. And immediately I see this level here, right? We wick back into this imbalance. Some will call this a fair value gap because it is a 3-candle pattern. But this is the level, right? See this big 15-minute sell-off? We didn't fill that area, so there's an imbalance of sellers in this area. Came back in, we filled some of those sellers, but we didn't fill all of them. If you went all the way across and then down, you can see that we kind of came down to the almost to the midline. We didn't even hit the midline on that one. But I'm going to leave this on my chart to expect potential pullback into this level. We do have this, short term here that they're trying to hold and sell off. But let's go ahead That's a 5-minute right here. Let's go ahead and see what it looks like on a 15-minute chart. I like the 15-minute patterns a little bit better for the overall. Okay, yeah, we still have 15. 15-minute goes up until this level here. But we immediately on the shorter time frame, we tested and then we're selling off. Continuing an intraday trend down here within a overall intermediate trend in a bull market. So that causes a little bit more volatility, and if buyers are still buying the dips, they're going to be trying to buy every dip, every low, trying to bounce it back up, right? Buy every low, try to bounce it back up. Buy every low, try to bounce it back up. Buy every low, try to bounce it back up, right? And now we're finally getting some sort of a solid breakdown where we're not wicking back up. And just clearly looking at these 15-minute charts, what do I see here on these 15-minute charts? I see two candles that pretty much have no bottom wick. That signals for me that below here is going to be liquidity. Because there's no bottom wicks on both of these candles, I'm expecting those to get broken and get a little bit of a stop run. That stop run could give us a continuation below. But look at that. No wicks. Anytime I see no wicks, it means there's liquidity below or above, right? Go ahead, look at your charts. Try doing this. It's an interesting thing to do. Anytime you find anything with no wicks, there's liquidity above, right? Barely any wick here. What happened? Took out a little bit of liquidity above this, right? Little bit above. What do we have here? No wick. What did we do? Took out a little bit of liquidity above at this spot here. Let's find the next one before we get into the weeds about a different setup and what I look for, right? There's going to be liquidity sitting right above this area because there's no wick. Doesn't mean we're going to get the continuation. It just means they're going to fill that liquidity, right? So at least on the downside, when they come down here, they're going to fill that liquidity. They're going to sweep it. Might get the continuation since we are in a most immediate intraday trend down, but we are closing here. We are closed actually. So that's my 15-minute chart. I'm going to look to the left. Do I have any other imbalances that I'm watching? Going to look at these candles here, right? This is a clear imbalance. That's what we filled and we've been trading off of. Now that we filled it, I got to look to see if I have any other areas, right? Any other areas? Do I see anything else? I got a small one here, right? See how there's no price action between this area? So we do have a small imbalance at this area here, right? If I zoom this in, make sure I can get it as clean as possible. Right? There is a slight imbalance here. There's a slight imbalance of buyers over sellers. So I'm going to put that on my chart and I'm going to use that moving forward. I know I didn't really get into this previously with my strategy, but I'm kind of showing you guys now how I use these liquidity areas on top of my tick charts. And you got a liquidity right here. See this? This is liquidity. I'm sorry, not liquidity. You have this imbalance here because there's an imbalance of buyers over sellers in this area. So I will chart that one as well if we get down there and closer to it. But I don't want to put too many of my charts because the only one that matters to me right now is the one where we bounced off of it, right? Look at that, beautiful, almost right in the middle of it. So I'm going to keep this on my chart, and since we are hitting this one, I want to see what's below it, right? I am going to put another one below it. And where is my other ones, right? Have these wicks here. I'm not seeing anything until right here. So I am going to put this one on my chart. As you can see, we held the imbalance there. My imbalance goes all the way down to right there. My imbalance goes to right there. And my imbalance goes to here. And I do have a key level here because this is holding, right? We're holding the imbalance. Look at right there. That's the level. That's the level I want to watch, which is below this swing. This is going to be a big liquidity sweep if we go higher, right? Let's see why I put that on the chart, and that level is going to be very key for me moving forward. Let's zoom out, give me the bigger picture. All right, that's why I did it. This is going to be quite a move if we break below here. So I'm going to actually put something in my chart here that is going to tell me that there could be a massive liquidity sweep to the downside. And I don't mean massive. I just mean this is a 15-minute chart. This is 2,900. We could get a 30-point liquidity sweep into this area, but it's not to be chased. These spots that you're seeing where they're holding here, these spots are holding. We're going to need to, if it breaks below, expect a bounce. But if it breaks below here, you could dump hard down here. But the issue is you got to take profits quickly. This is a momentum-based trade, right? You got to take profits quickly. This is a momentum-based trade where the majority of profits I will take off here at the middle. And then barely any will get down here. If it does, I'm looking for a quick bounce and then come down to this level. But this is, ooh, I really like this spot. So in this area, I'm going to be looking for, this separates the imbalance with separation, right? The separation holds here. The separation is holding. So if that breaks to the downside, I need to see this filled quickly. If it doesn't fill quickly, it means that it's just wicking down and then continuing up, kind of like what we have here on this candle, but it's holding. So this is a very key spot. I'm going to put very key swing, very key swing slash liquidity. It's a very key swing slash liquidity in this area. Okay. How far are we away from that? Okay, we're holding there. So if we break through this one and hold below, that might be the area. I'm going to correlate this onto a tick chart soon and see what that looks like. But this is what I got on a 15-minute, right? We do have some most immediate, we don't really have any immediate imbalances or anything above to retrace to. So let's go here on my 10,000 tick chart. Here's my 10,000 tick chart. We broke below, right? I remember I was talking about I wanted to see this pattern, right? This is one of my favorite patterns when we start ranging at the highs. You have bullish into a trading range, sweep below the range, and then we get that nice slingshot move up. Where are we looking to buy? Somewhere in these buy zones, somewhere around this trend line. If I can get some sort of support, horizontal support, and trend line support, that's the best spot for that long. That's what I'm watching. Since we filled this imbalance, since we broke below the range, right? That's what I'm watching moving forward. So I would love to get an entry down here. But for argument's sake, let's put this here, our 15-minute chart, which we were looking at this key area here, right? I was looking at this key area with the imbalance and the swings. I'm going to put this on my tick chart because the tick chart is going to help me with my entries. Ooh, look exactly where that liquidity and that imbalance and that very key level is matching up to. Let's grab this, put it on my tick chart. That's right there. Let's grab this, put it on my tick chart. Almost, did I grab the same one twice? Let's see. It just might be that tight here on a tick chart. Let's get rid of that. Let's go ahead and grab this on my chart, put it here, grab this on my chart, and put it there. Look at that. That area is going to be so key. So if I can get an entry coming in here, right, because we're correlating this onto the tick chart based off of the imbalances on a time chart. The imbalance on a time chart is what you want to see. That's right there, right? So this area you're seeing on the 15-minute chart that we charted down here, that area is we'll put this small imbalance that we have here. This area below, this is going to be a very key spot. Not saying that we're going to bounce there. I am saying that I'm going to be looking for entries there. This is what's called a hidden trend line. If the hidden trend line plays out after a setup like this, after we come high, a big bullish move into a trading range, we rotate below into a key area. This is a very key / liquidity area with an imbalance and a separation that held last time. So they love sweeping those. You do not want to chase this short. I'm going to put this here. Don't chase short. I am not going to chase this short. There's still going to be buy areas below, right? This key liquidity and imbalance area is going to, when it breaks, if it doesn't have that immediate dumping momentum to break this trend line, and we just see some volatility kicking in. If we see some volatility kicking in, we need to dump hard. We absolutely need to dump hard, right? There needs to be some sort of aggression from the sellers to get there, right? But these are my areas that I'm playing moving forward. Those are my areas. So, I can type this out, but as you can see, I got 20,907.50. $27,904.25. So close to a psych level, I wouldn't be surprised if they break that. That's with the separation. Let's spell imbalance right. That's with the separation. And if we sweep below the separation, we'll be inside of the smaller imbalance here at hopefully this trend line support and prior swing. So we could still break below down here. We still got 860. So we have a little bit of room to play with. But this is the area that I'm going to be looking for setups, right? I'm going to be looking for buyers coming in off the first test to see if I can stop out those late sellers down here that are getting trapped below the liquidity areas, to sweep that, fill part of this imbalance or the entire imbalance, then we continue higher. I'll be watching that, and that's pretty much it. So that's the post-Powell analysis, and we have our range 1, 2, 2. We may reach the second, so that's the strongest. All right, guys, good luck.